Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's On the Sofa. We're very privileged to have Mark Collier on tonight, the Melksham manager, who can chat through with Vic what we can expect on Saturday when the first team go to Melksham even. So we'll have Mark on in a moment. Let's bring Vic on, and then we will go through a few bits and pieces.
Hi, Chris. How are you doing? You all right?
Hello. I'm good.
Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. Thank you very much indeed. It's sunny
Good.
but breezy in Devon. That's all I can say to you at the minute. But a lovely day.
Yeah, it's quite nice here. A bit breezy, but not too bad. Still very warm. So
Yes. Yeah, getting warmer. Yeah.
So we want to say good luck to two of our young professionals. Sunny Hart is going up to Greenock Morton up in Scotland on loan for the rest of the season, or well, for the season long loan. And also Redmond Evans is going to Alvechurch. So we want to wish them all the best in their loan moves this season. So what do you want to say, Vic? Anything you've got to...
No, I've got nothing to say really, apart from the fact that I'm very much looking forward to going Melksham on Saturday. Of course, I couldn't go last Saturday to Supermarine due to a family wedding, which was great. Which was I didn't miss going to the football at all. But no, looking forward to hearing how that went a little bit later on. And of course, we'd love your comments on a big crowd at Supermarine, and we'd love to hear what your comments are on how the team performed. And look forward also, of course, to the visit to the Oakfields on Saturday at Melksham. So always a lovely place to go, always very welcoming. So looking forward to that lot.
Yeah. Okie dokie, let's bring Mark on and I will leave you. Hi, Mark.
Hiya, how you all okay?
Yeah, all good. Thank you.
All
yes.
Good.
Right, I will see you later.
Thanks very much indeed, Chris. Thank you. Mark, a great pleasure to have you on. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. It's a tradition that we go to Melksham before the start of the season. How do you view the game?
Yeah, it's one we look forward to. Obviously, it's a big game for the football club. The fact is that, it's very well supported. There are lots of supporters down that neck of the woods, i.e. out of Swindon area, that are big Swindon Town fans. So that helps us with the fan base. I think ticket sales have gone particularly well. The ground's in good shape. The pitch is in immaculate condition. And we look forward to welcoming what looks to be a very strong and capable Swindon Town side.
Yeah, you mentioned that the ground's looking in great condition because obviously if a professional team turns up to a stadium and the pitch ain't great, they don't come back year after year, but they do come back year after year. So that says a lot about the setup you have.
Yeah, I think also, Vic, is what helps us is, we've got lots of dressing rooms, and when Swindon Town arrive with a big squad, and the kit men tell us that some of our dressing room areas are better than some League Two clubs, which is particularly pleasing. That we can service however many players we need, showers, fitness rooms, medical rooms, etc. So yeah, that's I think one of the reasons Swindon Town come to us. Also, the academy often use our pitch throughout the season, as do Swindon Town ladies. So it's a nice relationship we've built with Swindon Town Football Club, and long may that continue.
Yeah, and as a supporter, when you go there, there's plenty of parking, which is always a bonus, isn't it? And there's plenty of food outlets and everything. It's a fantastic setup. I mean, to be involved in that, you must be very pleased.
Yeah, absolutely. As I say, the facility is without doubt one of the best around. The playing surface, the general facility is fantastic. And if I've ever needed to take any players there with view to signing them, when you take them to the ground and show them around, they can only be impressed with it. I often say to them that you can bring your wife and your girlfriend to these games, and she doesn't need to bring a coat because she can sit up in the sky bar and watch through the glazed windows and watch the game. So yeah, it is a great facility. The club's well supported. We've nearly 500 for every league game last season. And we're trying to push the club forward. We're in a good place at the moment. But we start the season with 0 points like everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, the dear old Conager, of course, had its place, didn't it? But this is it's moved on a little bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, it has moved on, and we're lucky that we've got this fantastic facility. You know, the club worked particularly hard all week to try and rent out rooms within the club. So the corporate side is growing on that front. You know, there's parties Fridays, Saturdays, which is a vital income to the football club. The Wiltshire Police use it for, I think this week they're drone training at the ground. They use it for their dog training, for different meetings, etc. So yeah, you know, it is a good place to be, and as you know, say the facility is second to none.
Fantastic. I think you finished 8th last season, didn't you? A few points off the playoffs. What are your ambitions for this time round?
Well, initially we need to make sure that we're, you know, competitive in every game. Obviously, we'd like to beat 8th, and if we beat 8th, then we're going to be very close to the playoffs. I think we pulled up a little bit short last year with maybe a little lack of experience. Had a terrible run over Christmas and didn't recover very quickly from a bad result at Bishop's Cleeve. So that's something for us to learn as the season unfolds. But we've made some key signings, some experienced signings, a couple of lads who've played in the league above. So yeah, we're hopeful that we can maintain last year's position of 8th and hopefully beat that. And as I say, if we do, then we'll be in a good place. There are some good clubs in this division this year. Frome Town have come down. Swindon Supermarine have come down. So, and logistically, it's a difficult league, as you would know, with the amount of travelling that we do. You know, we go down as far as Mousehole, which is a trek that, you know, we're almost leaving Melksham at 7:30 in the morning and getting home at 12:30 at night, and that's a long day for a non-league player. I mean, a couple of years ago we did go on the Friday night. Unfortunately, we woke up on the Saturday. The wind was howling against my hotel bedroom. We got to Mousehole, which was about half an hour away, to find the game off.
Yeah. So that was a Tuesday night in Mousehole, was it?
Yeah, so that's right, exactly that. So then it becomes a Tuesday night, yeah. So, you know, to Mousehole, to Falmouth, to Tavistock, there's lots of travelling, and you know, we're mindful that takes a long day from a player's point of view, for a non-league player's point of view, who've been to work all week and then suddenly saying goodbye to his family on a Saturday morning and not getting back till maybe the Sunday morning. So yeah, it's a lot of commitment, but it's a league that we look forward to. As I say, logistically, it's a tough one, but one that we're pleased to be in. Yeah,
if anybody's not sure where Mousehole is, it's Penzance and a bit further. So that'll give you an idea about how far it is.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's right, it is, yeah.
Yeah, Truro, of course, face similar problems as well now. They're in the National League. I mean, it's an extraordinary thing, isn't it, with non-league football, that it gets forgotten about, that sort of travelling that people have to do.
Yeah, well, last year we went to Helston, which is not quite as far as Mousehole, and we were late arriving. No fault of anybody's other than the traffic, and there was an accident. Anyway, the kickoff was delayed till 8 o'clock, which obviously delays everything. Time players have had some food, and kit men have collected everything else up, and we've got ourselves back on the coach. At that stage, we had a lad playing for us who lived in Oxford, and he arrived back home 4:45 the next morning. Exactly.
Did he go to work the next day?
Yeah, I think he did go to. I think he did go to work. Yeah, but I think it's time to jump in the shower and get changed and go out of his tracksuit off to work. So that just shows you that the commitment that non-league players, you know, have got to play at that level, when you could maybe drop down and go and play in the Western League or the Hellenic League and maybe earn just as much, but, you know, not playing such a decent league. So, yeah, commitment-wise is certainly needed and required to play at that level. And Truro have certainly got their work out, as you say, now. Yeah, when they could be off the gates, I presume.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Carlisle as well, of course.
Yeah.
This is from Sean Platt. He says, "Hi, Mark. Hope all is well. Been a long time. Always remember that FA Cup run with Supermarine, that night at Bath to get to the first round proper. Great night." I mean, you've had some fantastic memories, haven't you, in your career? I mean, goal scorer with Purton and with Supermarine before it became Supermarine. I mean, you know, your knowledge of local non-league football must be immense.
Yes, I've been in it quite a long time now, as they say. So yeah, Supermarine was a fantastic time, really. You know, to get to the second round of the FA Cup and only just narrowly lose at Colchester. And I can always remember John Ward, the very experienced John Ward, telling his players to keep the ball in the corner with 3 or 4 minutes to go. against lowly Supermarine. And we really could have got something from that particular game. I remember Chrissy Allen, who you would know as an ex-Swindon young player who did play for the first team, missed a golden opportunity, and 2 minutes later, they're at the other end, and Mooney scored a goal and it's knocked us out. But yeah, the Bath game will live a long time in my memory. That they had some top players there, and they were in the conference at the time, and to go there, and we'd drawn the home game, I think 0-0. I think most people thought we were out with the replay, and we went there down to Twerton Park, and I think we were 1-0 up, and then we were 3-1 down. Scott Murray had scored, and we came back and scored I think Kyle Lapham, another young Swindon player, scored a late goal for 4-3, and yeah, a fantastic night that was there. And then we played, I think, Eastwood from Nottinghamshire in the first round. I won that particular game, and then obviously Colchester away, where it all ended. But yeah, fantastic times certainly.
Yeah, you've had fantastic times with Chippenham, of course, as well. Promotion with them with a record number of points. I mean, these are great memories, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. And to win that league was particularly pleasing. And we get into the Conference South for the first time, and we had some good players at Chippenham. We had two fantastic strikers in David Pratt and Andy Sandell, who both scored over 30 goals. We were very strong at the back. We had an experienced goalkeeper in the ranks as well. So yeah, we certainly had a good side there, and managed to get into the Conference South, and had 2 seasons in the 2.5 seasons in the Conference South, where I think we finished 14th and 14th. So we established ourselves in that, and now the club are an established side in the Conference South, the National Conference South as well. So yeah, I've had some good times. You need to remember those good times, because there are lots of bad times that come along as well throughout the season and throughout your career.
Yeah, I was going to say there's always a downside to management when that ends, really. It'll either end in you leaving or the other thing, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think someone said to me once, you're not a proper manager until you've been sacked. And I think that's about right, really. Everybody wants results. Everybody's got an opinion. And now with social media, people can basically say what they want and do what they want. So sometimes I read it, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I look at forums, sometimes I don't. But I've got a little policy now. I've got a 24-hour rule. If we lose, I'm miserable for 24 hours. If we win, I'm just happy for 24 hours. Then we have to forget about it and think about the next game.
Yeah, get some nice comments coming in. This is from John up in the Manchester area. Very happy memories of the Conagher in the early 70s. Ronnie Lowe, Gareth Lewis and Sean Harvey come to mind, along with a 7-2 victory over Exmouth. And much more coming in too. This is from Jonathan Burrows. Living in Trowbridge, always do Melksham friendly. Has to be the best non-league setup in Wiltshire at all the best for the season. I mean, that's
lovely. Yeah, thank you.
That's compliment, isn't it? And Sean says, Males will have to have come on leaps and bounds with their stadium since I ticked it off on a Cornwall ground hop years ago. And then says, did you say the O word, Mark, as in OX, and then a F followed by an O and then an RD? Not allowed on.
I do apologise to everybody for saying that. Mousehole, they certainly changed their facilities a lot. I mean, we could, last season we could hardly get the coach down a long track to their ground, and lots of people came out taking pictures of the coach, and we wondered what the hell was going on. And they were taking these pictures so they could contact the local planners just to say, look, what the issue was. And I think now reading that that lane or that very small track has now been opened up for us to get the coaching. Otherwise, it's a long walk with kit and everything else. But so
I think the Prince of Wales has got involved, and
exactly that. Vic, he has got involved. Yeah, he has. So if he can't sort it out, nobody can.
Well, you would hope he's got some influence, wouldn't you? But it's easier access to the ground, because I think it's very rutted and all that kind of stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
So with a bit of luck, it should be better for you this season.
Yeah, I hope so.
Kevin says, are you looking for some Swindon Town youngsters? Would be good experience for them. I mean, do you look to Swindon for loan players? Yes, we do. And there may be some news on that in the next few days. I mean, last year we took Lucas Myers, the goalkeeper, from the under-18s, and did particularly well. Unfortunately got injured, so his loan period got cut short.
But yeah, we've taken loans before from Swindon Town. I've got a good relationship with the youth department and with Doyley, etc. And long may that continue. You know, it's quite a good level for those 17, 18-year-olds to come into non-league football. And I understand that Ian Holloway's keen for that to happen, for those lads to get out on loan and, you know, see what the rigours are of non-league football and see how much it means for some of these men to win and get their little bit of win bonus to help, you know, their financial needs. So yeah, you know, that's great. If we can take loan players on, we will do, if they're good enough to be in our team, and they make a difference to us. We're more than keen to get involved. And as I say, there may be some news on that over the next few days.
Well, we'll look out for that. I mean, I've often said about the football combination. You might well remember the football combination years ago.
Certainly.
You know, there wasn't that bridge. There isn't that bridge between youth football and men's football anymore, is there? With the combination, there was.
Yeah, that's right. And you know, academy football is academy football, and I understand that you know, the keeper throws it out to somebody in the 6-yard box and pass. But I think non-league football is not like that overall. So it is a great grounding for those lads to come out and see the physicality of it. And sometimes, you know, the other side of it, really, it's not always pretty, but it's sometimes learning how to win a football match and learning how to look after yourself against, you know, bigger and stronger opponents. So, yeah, and I worked at the academy myself, so I know I know what development is about, and you know, it's important that these players develop. Some of them are physically equipped for it, and some of them are not. But you'd like to think that the ones that do come out can cope and certainly make a difference at that level.
Mick says, always a nice place to go and watch a game. Good luck for the season, Mark, and also to your lad at Sam at Fairford. Yeah,
Sam's gone in at Fairford as a joint manager with the current manager there. So he had quite a successful time at Wooden Bassett. So yeah, he's gone out to Fairford now. I did go out and watch them on Saturday, just to have a little look what was going on. So yeah, it's all football now.
Yeah, nice little setup at Cinder Lane. It is still at Cinder Lane, isn't it? Because there was a housing estate. Yeah, it's still there. Yeah. Right, let's have a look. Oh, is it true the bar's not open on Saturday due to a wedding? Is that true?
That's correct. There is a wedding there. But there are outside bars all around, not all around the ground, but around the ground. So there's no reason for anyone not to have a beer. So it won't make any difference. Just that people won't be able to go inside the Sky Bar. But they can certainly sit in the stand, and the bars are outside now and are not inside. And we understand the forecast is excellent, so that will help.
Yeah, it's going to get hotter. I mean, is that it's difficult, isn't it, with professional sides pre-season training? But does that make a difference at your level?
Well, obviously, Vic, we train in the evenings, so we start training at 7 o'clock on a Tuesday and a Thursday. So we're hoping by that time it's normally cooled down. We've been quite lucky the 4 or 5 sessions that we've had so far, but yeah, you know, we try and keep the lads fueled and watered, and if we can find a coolish area to train, we will do. But yeah, I mean, it does cause a problem. But we just need to be careful. To think that the lads sometimes have been at a hard shift at work, and then we're asking them to train pre-season training as well. But you know, we try to make the pre-season training constructive and not destructive. Get the lads to enjoy themselves, and as I say, we'll look forward to hopefully enjoying the game on Saturday.
Another problem, of course, I talked to a lot of non-league groundsmen locally here in Devon, and they have a problem with no rain. I mean, it's been what about your ground?
Yeah, I mean, we've got water. So we're lucky, you know, the pitch is watered nearly every day. So we're very lucky. Talking back to Fairford, I went to Fairford, and you know, they've got 3 green patches where the garden hose had watered the pitch. The rest of it was white, like an oasis, really. Caution was similar as well. So I do feel sorry for these groundsmen who have zero water or zero pressure to make anything happen. Us, luckily, we've had the whole pitch reseeded, and so we needed the water, and the groundsman was panicking at one stage that even our water system wouldn't be enough. But the rain did come for a short period of time a few weeks ago, maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago, which certainly helped us. But yeah, luckily we've got water, and you know, our pitch is in excellent order, to say the least.
Yeah, a bit on Saturday, of course, but it looks pretty dry for the remainder of the week at least. Right, so we're going to let you go in a minute, but I just wonder what you get out of a game like this, because obviously you're crossing swords with Ian Holloway. Have you crossed swords with him before in a managerial sense?
No, I haven't. No, I mean, over the years, there's been so many Swindon managers, and I often have a chat with Mildy before the game, and Mildy reels off how many managers he's actually worked and played for at Swindon Town. So
yeah, if I said to you, like, we've had about 40 since the year 2000, that'll give you an idea, won't it?
Yeah, unbelievable. So yeah, I haven't come across. I know that Ian Holloway did a sportsman's dinner at Melksham Town a few years ago, so he's obviously been to the ground. But yeah, as I say, we look forward to welcome them. We know it's always a difficult game that we're playing players of that standing and of that level with their physicality and everything they have to be a professional footballer against part-timers. But it's a good yardstick for us to try and can we compete? Can we be defensively solid for as long as we possibly can? Obviously, it's great for our fitness. Not seeing the ball too much, but being able to have a shape about us and get people into good positions and work hard. So, and as a manager, I always learn something from the opposition, and I'm sure I'll learn something from the opposition on Saturday. So that again, something for us to look forward to and embrace.
Lovely chatting to you. Thank you very much, Steve, for joining us, and hopefully we can catch up with you during the season if that's all right with you.
Yeah, absolutely, no problem at all. And thanks for having me on.
No problem. You can disappear now and do whatever it is the rest of the evening. You're planning probably more football knowledge, I expect.
Absolutely.
Study. All the very best to you, Mark.
Much.
We'll see you on Saturday. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Mark. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
I've got a message here from Laura Sharp regarding SAS travel, Chris, and she says, "Hi Vic, can you let everyone know that we'll be going on sale with coaches for Walsall and Cardiff on Thursday? Departure times are 11 a.m. for Walsall, 4 p.m. for Cardiff. Prices will follow shortly on our X account." That's from Laura. So it's already gearing up for the start of the season. Yeah. So there you are, Walsall and Cardiff on sale Thursday. Departure times 11 a.m. for Walsall, 4 p.m. for Cardiff. So it's all getting ready to go.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Thanks for that, Laura. Right, shall we bring the others on? We've picked 3 people that we knew were at Super Marine on Saturday, and they're going to talk shirts and squads and all sorts. So let's bring them on. So we have Rob.
Evening all.
We have Ray.
Evening all.
Hello.
And we have Andy.
Evening all.
Evening.
And I will see you later.
See you later, Chris. 3 gentlemen here watched the game on Saturday. 1 didn't. So I'll be guided what happened by you 3 gentlemen. I was watching, looking at the score lines coming in, and a 4-0 win, obviously very satisfying it seems. But Rob, Jake Tabor getting off the mark. That's got to be a good start for him.
Absolutely. I mean, it was very, very encouraging that the first 11 that came on the pitch on the first for the first pre-season friendly of the season, we could name them all, and there was no trialists, which says a lot about our pre-season preparations. I think we have a consistent, settled squad at this moment in time, and obviously the few newcomers who have come in, a couple of them were here anyway from last season in terms of Connor Ripley and in terms of Tom Nichols, so that continuity exists. And the newcomers, as you say, Jake Tabor has come with a reputation of scoring goals at a much lower level. Obviously, he needs to beef up a bit. There's not too much of him. And I'm sure over the coming weeks and months, he'll get his opportunities, because you could certainly see that there was a striker in there who knows where the goal is. And to get one in pre-season very early on. And there were a couple of other chances in that second half as well, which he had a shot from 20 yards, which went a few inches wide, and another couple of balls that flashed across the goal that he couldn't quite get his head on to be able to add to his tally. So, no, all in all, it was a very encouraging start for him.
Yeah, Ray, the thing is, the obvious comparisons are with Charlie Austin, aren't they, who came out of non-league recently and was such a hit. Charlie has left AFC Tottenham. We'll wait to see what his next move will be. But in terms of what you saw on Saturday, were you impressed with the young boy, Jake?
Yeah, I was. He's certainly going to be difficult to play against, I think. As Rob said, I think physically he'll fill out a bit. He's definitely more of a Harry McCurdy than Harry Smith, that's for sure, in terms of physique. But yeah, I was quite impressed with it. He's a bit of a nuisance. He doesn't stop. And he, you know, a couple of times he got to the byline and sort of forced his way past defenders as well, which I quite liked. You know, his ability to do. And as Rob said, he was involved in maybe 3 or 4 sort of scoring opportunities as well as the goal he got. And I do think quite a lot of that is like if you can do it, you can take that skill up the leagues. It'll just be doing it against fitter, stronger people consistently week in, week out, because he's probably been fitter than most of the players he's played against at Amersham, I would imagine. But yeah, I think the signs are good. I don't want to put too much pressure on him. I think probably listening to him, he'll be the one that puts the most pressure on himself, I think. But yeah, the first sign's encouraging.
Yeah, big opportunity for him. We should say that you got there via Iron Maiden, was it? And the Lake District, a bit heavy metal.
I did. Yeah, believe it or not. Yeah. Very good. Yeah.
Good. Well done. Andy, nice to see you again. And you two were there on Saturday. What impressed you overall about the town? Because, as we've said, how nice it is to see a lineup with most of the players.
Absolutely, as Rob said, you know, we didn't have to keep checking on our phones to see if we could find out who somebody was, which was quite nice. And squad numbers are out as well, so you know, it's quite easy to follow those that were playing. So, but yeah, I think the 2 different halves, 2 different teams in 2 different halves. We've already mentioned about Jake Tabor. Not only did he look extremely fit, for as I said, he's already one of the fittest players in the squad. So, you know, he's not got a great deal more to do to bring himself up to the level that he needs to do. As the gents have just said, he does need to fill out. And I think the other new signings, I think, was it Ball? He played in the first half. He looked quite handy. And Darren Oldacre, when he came on, he put himself about a bit as well. So, yeah, I think encouraging, very encouraging.
I should say at this point that a couple of days ago we sent out a thing that it was Maurice Owen's birthday, but sadly today is the anniversary of his passing in the year 2000. One of our great players, of course, Maurice Owen, not just a player but everything else. He was a trainer, he was a groundsman, he was a scout, and he was responsible for bringing a lot of the younger players through, like the Summerbys and the Hunts and the Rogers and people like that. So we pay tribute to the great Maurice Owen, and I'm delighted to say that his daughter Caroline hopefully will be joining us in the next couple of weeks to share her memories of him. And I've got some great memories coming on my Facebook page regarding Maurice Owen, which we'll put out on that day. So thank you very much, Steve, for all of those. What a great name. And we will pay tribute to the great man, and we mark his passing today. Rob, I mean, wouldn't it be nice to think that, you know, you get a player like that, I think 63, I mean, goodness me, longevity ain't in football anymore like that, is it?
No, it's not, although Lewis Ward must be close to that, yes, the number of times he's come back. But no, it's you're right. You don't get one club men anymore, dear. That's not the way that football works anymore. And obviously, with the onset of different moves and whatnot, I guess it's very unlikely that those days will ever return. But it's great, as we've mentioned many times on here, to see players come out of your youth team and start their journey, even if they don't finish their journey with Swindon. And there are still many, many players, as we've discussed over several of these on the sofas over the years, who have been with us now for quite a few. We're very pleased to see Minton back on the pitch on Saturday after a horrible injury for a lot of last season. Obviously, he was talked about as being a potential outgoing a couple of seasons ago for big money, and obviously his career has sort of stagnated a little bit here. But if you add the Joel McGregor's, who's just not back with us yet because he's suffering from an injury, but he's back still to come to fill out the dance, and obviously 2 goals in pre-season on Saturday makes a massive difference. They were both tap-ins. Let's not go overboard. They weren't the best finishes in the world. You're never going to...
Had to be there, though, didn't he?
Well, and there's the fact that if you ask a lot of people who weren't there, they'll say he scored 2 goals on Saturday. And nobody will ask you what they were or how they appeared. He scored 2 goals, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
So... yeah, I it's great to see the fact that our youth players, and listening to Mark Collier a few minutes ago, they need some experience. You've mentioned the likes of Sonny Hart. And if these players can't quite reach the level of League Two football that we need them to play with us this season, the fact that they can go out and get experience and potentially that can benefit us further down the line, whether that's for them in terms of their own future careers, or whether it's for us in terms of a potential transfer fee further down the line, if it's not work they've done in that youth system over the course of the last decade or so, where they've really made huge steps forward.
Yeah, it sounded as though Mark Collier was looking to get one in from Swindon as well, didn't he? Understand what he was saying. John Stevens has been in touch, Rob. You'll be delighted to know. Oh dear, Rob, 1 step forward, 1 step back. Just because you're only on for half an hour, you still have to put the effort in. You have an excuse, though, don't you? You're not in your regular place at the minute, just for tonight. So you have a bit of...
Exactly. I've pulled out all the stops.
You have, so we're grateful. Yeah, that thing about young players getting loan experience, Ray, obviously we want to see them in the first team, you know, but they're not going to instantly get in the first team. And that bridge I mentioned between the youth football and then men's football is a big gap, isn't it? So they need to get that experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And you could tell from Mark Collier's comments, you know, it's exactly how he sees it. And you know, I guess he's got to sort of think about that when he is bringing people in that's going to help, you know, go help him as well as us. But it is a gap to bridge, I think. But where else are you going to get that experience? I think they do need to go out and get that experience. It's certainly not going to do them.
What did you think of the overall impression? And I think it was it 2-0 at half time and then a couple in the second half?
Yeah, I came away from it quite pleased, really. It felt like it was great that we kind of recognised a lot of the Tom Nichols has come back, trying and signed again. Great to see him not worrying about his knee as well. He was full throttle on Saturday. But then when you look at the players that were there, like Kilkenny, etc., we have actually got quite a good nucleus that stayed with us. There is some real talent in there, and they're definitely industrious. And I think first signs are we've added to it quite well from what we could see Saturday. Okay, it's one game, but I would say fair play to Submarine. They were competitive. They didn't. They had a sort of strength and a fitness about them. So we didn't have it all our own way. We had to work for it. So yeah. My overall impressions were it was a really worthwhile exercise, and it looked like we were playing to a system, and we weren't net legs. It looked like we were really at a game plan.
Yeah, Andy, we said this many times, but the fact they've got a lot of their business done early, that's a real plus, isn't it? And they can start from pre-season right the way through now with a similar squad. But of course, there's a balance in pre-season, isn't there, between getting the minutes in but not getting injured. I mean, it's crucial that they don't pick up injuries which knock them out for 6 months of the season.
Well, exactly. You don't want a player getting injured playing Melksham or Chippenham, do you? And then being out for the first 3 months of the season. So it's making sure that you're being careful, and that if there is any sort of nicks or anything that's a player's got, that you're not putting the minutes in that you probably would do. You just got to be sensible, I think. But it's good that we've got our work done early. We've got a lot of players in. Where there be any more, maybe 1 or 2 more, I think. But there's a good nucleus of the squad now, and I think it's really, really encouraging.
Yeah, you would think that there'd be a couple of loan players coming in, wouldn't you, from maybe Premier League teams when they settled their squad. Greenock Morton, what do you know about them, Andy? You're a Scottish football expert.
I've actually been to the ground. I've not seen a game there. I wandered in when I was on holiday up there once and just sauntered in and had quite a chat with the commercial manager there about the club and everything, which was quite nice. And it's a nice setup, and I think that's a good standard for Sonny Hart. What's that? The Scottish Championship they're in. So, you know, that's probably equivalent to probably League Two, I would imagine, isn't it? Roughly up in Scotland. So a good level, you know, and some good teams that he'll be playing.
Right. What about kit then? Because there are several comments about kit. Friday.
Yeah.
I was watching Somerset get beat by Glamorgan disappointingly, but what's it? I mean, I looked at it and you look at it and you think, I'm not sure, and then you look at it and you think, oh, it's all right, and then you look at it and you're not sure. What's it like in real life, as it were?
It's brilliant that we're actually wearing it for the pre-season friendlies. I have to say, commercially, it would be very nice if we can tailor that together with being available to be able to purchase at the same time. But we are making strides forward in terms of being able to engage with the fan base to be able to do kit launches like we did. Looks like, for me personally, fantastic to see white shorts again. Swindon is a team that should have white shorts. It's as simple as that. That's traditionally our kit, red and white, not all red. So I'm delighted to see the white shorts back out again. Most of the home shirts do. They don't seem to vary too much because they're still going to be the same shade of red, and it is a very strong similarity to one of the kits from a couple of seasons ago. Just that little flash of gold seems to be the main difference. But I have to say, it looked very professional. It looked very good. I'm because Ian Holloway did. So I don't know whether he deliberately gave it away on the Friday night or whether actually he was told that's the third kit that he was talking about rather than the second kit. But he mentioned a gold strip. Well, that would be very, very strange to see Swindon in gold. we have had sort of like a goldy black stripe one away from home before, I tend to remember.
We had one a couple of seasons back that had sort of was mainly black and had a bit of gold on it, didn't it?
Yeah. So, but he was talking light gold rather than anything else. But
well, it's probably in there somewhere, isn't it? I mean, apparently what were your impressions, Ray? It's interesting, isn't it? It's pretty similar to last year's third kit, isn't it? In terms of that collar, just different colour.
Yeah. I kind of every year you've got a group in one camp, a group in another camp, but I kind of always tend to hold judgment. So I've seen it in a match situation, and I quite liked it. Actually, I thought it was pretty smart. Like Rob said, I'm happy to see the white shorts back as well. But yeah, for me it was good.
And you went. I think did you go, Andy, to the it? What was your immediate reaction? Was it what's that, or was it that's nice?
I think my first reaction was I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure about it. It looked like a white collar, but it's not actually a collar, it's just white. But seeing it in the match on Saturday, it really looks good. And again, good to see the white shorts. It reminds me of when Danny Williams came back in the 70s after us wearing black. So yeah, glad about that.
Yeah, I've seen the comment that it's a throwback to that shirt of the early 70s. I hope not, because we got relegated in that, didn't we? So we were pretty awful, so I hope not. This is from Pete Batch-Hedges. Hello, Pete Batch-Hedges. Great afternoon on Saturday. Best bit for me, apart from the football, was Ian Holloway taking time before kickoff to walk right round the ground, stopping to chat. He's definitely made his mark on the club. Long may it continue. And I think, Andy, that's a big thing, isn't it? I mean, I think we all know where his origins are. We all know where his heart truly is. That will never change. But he's embedded himself in Swindon Town, which not many managers do.
No, he has. Considering where he's from, we all know where he's from. We won't mention it. He's certainly made himself feel very at home, and He's trying to get everybody else to feel the same way he's in, and trying to get the spirit back in there. Everyone enthused to want to come out and watch the town and get behind the town. And I think it's more than that. You know, he truly wants to be here, and he truly wants us to do well, and he wants us to get promoted this season. And that's brilliant to see that he is.
Rob, I mean, we don't have many managers like that. I mean, Canio is a good example. He was passionate, but we all know how that ended, and off he went. But you don't get many like that. Macari was here for a long time, and he was similarly passionate about the whole thing. But that's another matter altogether. But fans and team, it's a big deal. It's what makes you want to support a football team, isn't it?
Totally. I mean, I can't say any more than that, really, because he gets it. That's the bottom line. He's been in football for that long. He knows the connection between the football club, the football team, and the supporters is the biggest and most important connection that you could possibly find. And he builds bridges. And what Pete Batt said a few minutes ago is absolutely spot on. I've never seen a manager walk around a football ground before the season starts, shaking hands, having a joke, laughing with all the supporters. He has created, if nothing else, a big bond with, what was it, 1900 at Super Marine on Saturday, something like that. A good proportion of that fan base now is absolutely on his side completely. You cannot ever change that initial reaction. Always the most important. And some of those kids who went to football with their dads for the first time on Saturday would have seen the manager coming around and having a joke and a laugh with everybody that was there, just creating the bond that you need to have between fans and supporters and players and management and supporters. And he, on Friday night last week, he did another much. So I know it's in different language, in a different way of talking, but it's so similar to the Paolo Di Canio way of management. He had that same charisma. He got people to listen to him. He held an audience, and Ian Holloway does exactly that. He holds whatever he says, whether it's jokey, whether activate an audience, he will capture your imagination. And he wants everyone to go on this journey with him. He recognises the area. Okay, he comes from the B word rather than the S word, but we all know he understands the area and people around him, and that's what he wants along his.
I mean, you remember earlier a great friend from years gone by, Rob, and he always say,
absolutely.
Get all the way in, and we always go, and we always are well a bit sceptical about that, and you do wonder where we might have been had he had one of the many managerial opportunities at Swindon. You do wonder where we might have been. It's a sliding doors moment. We'll never know, but it would be an interesting thing to think about, wouldn't it?
Oh, it totally would. And I suppose the way to think about it at the minute is he came in in a situation which could have been the most catastrophic season in Swindon Town's history. Let's be honest, we all know where we were at the point that he actually took over. And it was only a couple of weeks into his tenure that we hit the absolute rock bottom. But sometimes you need to hit that low point first, don't you, to really realise what it takes, what it means to people, and what you need to do to get yourself out of it. And there's no substitute for experience. It's great to have managers who come through and start their journey with you, the likes of a Hoddle and RD Les, who got on the managerial ladder by doing things a little bit differently with Swindon. But in the position that we are in at this moment in time, we all desperately want to get out of this division. And Ian Holloway, at this moment in time, he may have been the best manager for us a few other times as well, but he's definitely the best manager for us now, and we need to get behind him.
Yeah. Now, John has commented on you, Ray. So he says, got to admire Ray for securing one of the executive boxes before they've been built.
Yeah. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Well done. Well, it looks good. I mean, you know, do you have people coming in serving you drinks, that kind of stuff? Does that happen?
Not very often.
So Melksham on Saturday, then, Ray. Are you attending, by the way, Ray?
Well, funny enough, I wasn't intending to, but I enjoyed Saturday so much I got a ticket today. So,
Oh, well
yes,
done.
yeah.
It's a fantastic. You've been there before, presumably.
No, it'd be a first.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Well, as I said to Mark Collier, the great thing about it is there's plenty of parking. And apparently the Sky Bar's not open because of the wedding, as Mark has told us, but there are plenty of food opportunities around the ground. It's a great little setup. And what are you expecting? Because I suppose as pre-season goes on, you know, the team is looking to build towards obviously the most important date, which is the 2nd of August, isn't it?
Yeah, I would think something as competitive as Saturday. I would expect them to be, and they did look fit. You know, they looked in good shape. So I'd expect them to be taking it seriously. I'd expect there to be a real pace about the game from our perspective. So I would certainly, that would be my minimum expectation. You never know. I try not to get too excited about pre-season because you just never know, do you, with these games? But yeah, I'm hoping it's going to be a good day. But if it's the levels of sort of effort that we saw on Saturday, I'll be happy with that. But I was just going to actually say, but going back to Rob's points and Andy's points about the Ian Holloway, I think there was the club put a message out at the weekend where somebody had given Holloway a gift on Saturday. And he'd gone away. He hadn't got the name, and he'd obviously thought about it, and he'd asked the club to put a message out to try and find out who it was, so that he could thank him properly. And that's kind of the little things that I think are typical of the man. But the other thing, I loved the Canio area. I really did love it. But if you asked a youngster at the club now versus a youngster at the club in the Paolo era, what their thoughts were, it's chalk and cheese, because Paolo was all about today. However many signings we got through the door, the youth team didn't get a look in. But if you look at today's situation, there's a viewpoint that goes across the club. So I think for me that it's a lot healthier situation for us. We've got somebody who is charismatic, but it's a bit more bigger picture in my view.
Yeah, we always used to count the amount of times that Di Canio hit the dugout. That was always we had a little sweepstake to see how many times he'd do it and what would be the first minute in which he did it. And I always remember at Bournemouth, there was the incident where allegedly, my lad, he broke the dugout, although it wasn't proven, I think, by anybody in particular. Andy, what about Saturday? Are you going to Melksham?
I'm probably not, but I may still try and twist my wife's arm.
You're not on another cruise, are you?
No. I did promise to take her out, but now I'm retired. I've got plenty of time to.
Yeah, I noticed that Super Marina are sponsored by Imagine Cruising. I think you're the one who funds them, aren't you? So, what are you thinking now for the remainder? We've got obviously we've got Melksham on Saturday, then Chippenham the following Saturday, and then Eastleigh on the Saturday before the start of the season. What are your thoughts? We've got Reading, of course, behind the closed doors one as well, and then there's this alleged match against all these trialists. So what about the build up to the new season?
I think the blend's quite good. We started off with two teams who play 3-4 levels below us in the Southern League. Is it Division 1 Southwest? I think it is now, or whatever it's called. So it's a gentle easing in there, and then on to Chippenham, which is 2 levels below us. So that'll be a good test, I feel. Even though Chippenham is a bit of a slope, isn't there, on Hard Newish? So may become a little bit more of a leveler. And then on to Eastleigh, again, 1 step below us, and that'll be a really, really good test before we then play Reading behind closed doors. So I think the build-up's pretty good, and I hope by the time we go to Walsall on the first Saturday of the season, we'll be there or thereabouts.
Yeah, you would hope so. Just a reminder that the note from Laura from SAS, could you let everyone know that we'll be going on sale with coaches for Walsall and Cardiff on Thursday. Departure times 11 a.m. for Walsall, 4 p.m. for Cardiff. Prices will follow shortly on our X account. So there we all are, and we're all looking forward to the departure time for Chesterfield, I think, aren't we? Which is a 12:30, not Chesterfield, Oldham, which is a 12:30 kickoff. Yes, we're all looking forward to that. What about that, Rob? Moving of fixtures already. it's going to happen now, isn't it, with our dear friends at Sky? But Crewe was a 12:30 last season. It is again this year. Gillingham, we now know, is a Friday night, which great. Friday night on the M25, fantastic. What are your thoughts on it?
Colchester, not Gillingham, Vic.
Oh, Colchester, sorry. Still the same sort of journey. Yeah.
Thankfully, that one's not till April, but let's be honest, the footballing gods never let us play Colchester on a Saturday, so that was inevitable, wasn't it? Really, it's never going to happen. So, no, I mean, you just summed it up pretty well. In as much as we sold our soul to the Sky Devil many years ago, didn't we? The footballing world, and unfortunately, they run football now. So if they want kickoffs changed, they change kickoff times. It's as simple as that. And however inconvenient or annoying it might be to the average football fan, particularly those of us who travel away from home at ridiculous times in the morning, that's the way it's going to be, and we've just got to put up with it, unfortunately. If you look at realistically at the fixtures that we've got, we're quite lucky, I think, if I'm honest, in August, because I fully expected one of those to get moved to a midweek fixture. I thought Walsall on opening day was almost guaranteed with them being playoff finalists, but Sky thankfully have decided to change the championship start date to the week after League One, League Two, and therefore all the League Two fixtures kick off at 3:00 on the Saturday, which is nice. But Oldham, as a new team coming into the division, as their second home game, and their first game will be that 3:00 Saturday on opening day. So I think that one was inevitably going to be changed for the television. Crewe away seems to be a fixture that Sky love, don't they? I mean, if you'd have looked at the fixture last year, that was probably the most boring 0-0 draw in the history of football. Why on earth you'd want to televise that one again? I've no idea, but they've chosen to go for it. But I'm sure I'm more relieved, if I'm honest, Vic, that the September fixtures are out and they haven't moved Barrow away. That was the one fixture I was waiting to be moved.
We're all relieved. I jokingly said to you the other day, there's bound to be a September blizzard in Barrow, which would cause all sorts of problems, won't there? Dare I mention this, and I will mention it. You can say what you want, but we've got friends at cricket who are Bristol City supporters, and their last three games have been against Sheffield United. They're away at Sheffield United, I think, for their opener, 12:30 kickoff, and good luck with that. Adrian's made the point actually that Layer Roll was every Friday. He used to play Colchester every Friday. They used to play on a Friday, didn't they?
And apparently that's why this one's moved, Vic. Apparently they want to go back to Friday nights. They're going to have a certain number of fixtures on Friday nights this season, and that's why they've moved us.
Thanks. Layer Road, we all remember those wonderful toilet facilities there, don't we? What about your thoughts on that, Ray? Moving of games, it's going to happen, isn't it? There's nothing we can do about it.
I've not got strong opinions on it, but if it brings money in and it keeps us going, that's the positive. But it is frustrating. But like anything, there's always someone worse off than yourself. And in our case, it's you, Vic, because you can't go.
Thanks. That makes me feel a lot better. Thank you very much. I mean, it's that once you're up, aren't you? You might as well just get on with it, really. I mean, my view is this: that it is what it is. You have two choices. You either go or you don't go.
And I think if the players can adapt to it, then we can really.
That's actually a good point, Ray. That's actually a really good point, because the one thing that we don't think of in all of this is the fact that the players got. Certainly for Oldham, for example, have now got to negotiate the M6 on a Friday night to get up there the night before the 12:30 kickoff, which they probably would have had to do for a 3:00 kickoff on a Saturday anyway. But it's just another bit of logistical nightmare that the clubs need to take into account, isn't it?
Well, they've agreed to it, the football club. So
hey,
absolutely. What are you going to do? You're right. And now what about this? Ollie thought it was the second bit, but apparently third. The gold. And anyone know about kits online? Sure, I heard someone say at the event on Friday that they'll be online to order now. Can't see anything. Andy, do you know anything about that? I mean, you were there.
Yeah, I think they're on sale online. I'm pretty sure they are. I'm sure I've seen something. Don't quote me on that.
I think I read pre-order online.
It is pre-order
for the end of the month, I think.
Yeah, I think it's is it 30th of July? They're available for. Something like that.
Yeah.
Right. So, we won't possibly get them for the first game of the season then. is what you're saying.
Hopefully we should. Hopefully we'll be all right.
Oh, pre-order, then yeah, I get
Yeah.
what you mean. Yeah.
We
Yes.
pre-order now at the end of the month.
Yeah. What about your thoughts, Andy? You're always off on a cruise, so it doesn't matter to you, does it? But what about those moving of fixtures? I mean, it's just one of those modern things we have to put up with. I mean, the Premier League, they've had to put up with it for years, haven't they?
They have, yeah. You know, if you were always a Premier League side, it was forever getting changed Sundays, Fridays, Mondays. So it's just come full circle now. I'm back. I'm not too bothered by it, especially now. I feel for you a little bit, Vic, having to have to travel, but you know, it's the people who are travelling in further, isn't it? That it may be that there's a bit more of an issue with, but no, I don't have a huge problem with it, to be honest.
No, you're a retired person. You can do what you want.
I'd like to say that again.
Yeah. No, I as I say, it is what it is, and you have a choice. You can either stay at home and watch it on the telly box, or you can go.
Exactly right.
I mean, there's nothing like being there, Rob, is there? Even at Colchester on a Friday night, it's it is. I don't know. It's just different, isn't it, to sit in front of it on the sofa watching telly.
Well, I think we all got very familiar during that COVID season, didn't we, with the fact that you just don't get what's going on all parts of the pitch. You can't see other bits that you just would pick up if you were in the stadium, and it's brilliant for people who haven't got the access to be able to go to football every week. It gives them another way of being able to support the club in a different way. But no, if you're a regular and you like to watch your football, you can't beat being at the ground.
Even at grounds like Rochdale in the past, it is. It's just the way it is, isn't it? I thought the new rule that came in last season, both fixtures reversed, must be played on same day or night, excluding bank holidays. So I wouldn't be surprised if Colchester at home will change to Friday.
I think they've got to ask for support of both parties, haven't they? I think the club have got to agree to it being moved if it's changed from the date that it's originally scheduled.
That's October the 25th, by the way, the home game.
Yeah, so I think Swindon must have agreed to Colchester moving it to the Friday, but whether Swindon will reciprocate and ask Colchester to move that to the Friday, I guess it happen anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, well, let's see. Got 2 or 3 minutes to go. Ray, early days, obviously, but your impressions of what we might expect this season. We've already said about Ian Holloway and the effect he's had. Fabulous end to the season in terms of results and great endings to matches, all that kind of thing. Just fell up short. Actually, there's a lot of pressure on again. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, to a degree, because people maybe are expecting us to do a bit better this coming year, but I'd rather have that than the way we've gone into the last few years. Really.
Yeah.
But you never know in football, do you? And the littlest things can change things for the good or for the worse. And so we can steer clear of injuries, looking at what we've got as a squad at the moment. And I do expect 1 or 2 more, not much more change now. Then I think the nucleus is there for us to enjoy the season. I think it's going to be front foot football. So I think we're going to have something worth watching, and hopefully it ends with us in the right sort of area at the end of the season. I'm certainly more confident than some of the recent seasons, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's true, Andy, isn't it? You go into this with optimism rather than the other one.
Yeah, the last couple of seasons we've sort of gone in thinking, how much further can we fall? And if you look at October time last year, you were realistically thinking we could be a National League team next season. Thankfully,
I think we were all thinking that after the 4-0 home defeat by Walsall.
We were. Thankfully, Ian Holloway's come in and has moved us around. A team that were at one point bottom of the league to finish in the top half, only just, but we finished in the top half. It's got everyone up for it, hasn't it, this season? And everyone's now is in a very positive mood, and everyone thinks and hopefully that we can do it this season, and we can at least get to the playoffs. It'd be nice to get up automatically, but If it has to be the playoffs, it has to be the playoffs. But
yeah, we'll win those. Simple as that. That's that then. It's true though, Rob. I mean, I think there was a bit of optimism last year. I think when we had a new manager again. Holloway, by the way, must be on his way to a long service medal the way things are going, mustn't he? And actually, he's gone into another season, which is extraordinary, really, for our recent history. But there was a bit of optimism about, wasn't there? As it proved, it was well short of the mark.
Yeah, I mean, there always is, isn't there, before day one, because you don't know the strengths and the weaknesses of your squad, particularly. You don't know the strengths and the weaknesses of the opposition to a certain extent either. So we all looked at that Warsaw game last season, thought this could be one of the worst seasons in our history. And yet they turned out at that point of the season to be head and shoulders above every other team, didn't they, for the first half of the season? So it's very difficult to judge. And I guess it's a lesson to us all in some respects. We were very critical of our players in that first half of the season. Once a different manager came in, our view of those players changed quite significantly.
Yes.
And similarly, if results don't go your way in the opening weeks, it doesn't necessarily mean you're a dreadful team. It might just be that you've actually played some of the better sides in the division, and the sides need to even each other out over a course of a few months before you make judgment. But I think you got all the signs from Mark Kennedy last year, didn't you, that it just simply wasn't going to work, and that was very quickly in. And we can always hark back to the Barrow experience, which probably for everybody was something that we simply never want to ever repeat again. So he never gave us the encouragement to really get behind him, whereas it's the opposite with Ian Holloway. And that's where the optimism comes from. He's given us that little bit of an insight last season.
Yeah, this is from Jason, who says, with Ollie in charge, promotion this season is really now or never for the club. Surely this is our year. Fingers crossed. Well, absolutely. Right, well, we'll see you at Melksham on Saturday. Looking forward to going to the Oakfields as well. Also, Melksham gives us the opportunity to visit the mother-in-law, which we always do traditionally on that particular occasion. So there we are, Chris. Optimism. What on earth are we doing with that? We can't be doing with that, can we? That's just something we don't have, do we? What's happening?
A bit insane. Gosh, how can we do that? But brilliant. Thanks, guys. So Vic and I will be back next Monday. If anybody is going to Melksham and they'd like to appear on the panel and give their thoughts, please let us know on our socials or come up and see us at Melksham. We'll be there. And just a quick reminder that membership is on sale at the moment. So if you're not a season ticket holder and you'd like to be a member of the OSC, just go to our website, which is www.stfc-osc.com, and go to the shop. And likewise, if you would like a season-long subscription to the Matchday Draw, you'll see what the benefits are for that online as well. So please have a look and see if that's what you want to do. So thank you for joining us. I understand there was a bit of a problem with the sound. I think the guys here were a bit robotic, but hopefully it didn't.
Never let it be said, Chris. Never let it be said.
Brilliant. But no, we'll see you next Monday. So have a good week and take care. Bye-bye.